What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Bitcoin and Markets. My name is Ansel Lindner. Happy Friday out there. Hope you guys are all doing well. Hope you have big plans for the weekend. Today was a little bit slower day in the Bitcoin news cycle after the pump. You know, there's always this adrenaline when Bitcoin pops 10%. But today was a little bit slower day. But I did find a few things to talk about. Of course, this elliptic Hamas funding. We're going to talk about that. Watch one video from the Senate Banking Committee, and then we're going to go into Mark Yusko. And what's the name of that podcast? One second. It is Blockware Solutions, and he's debating Mitchell Hoddle from Twitter, Mitchell Hoddle, on Bitcoin's distribution, and we're going to go over that. We're going to listen to it, and I will comment on it. Okay, so let's get started by going to bitcoinandmarkets.com, if I can find it on my list of tabs open. Here we go. I was on that, but let me go to the homepage. So I did put out a Proton this morning. It was a stock market update, also a yield curve update, and a Bitcoin price update. So if you guys want to get my professional tier, go sign up for that on the website. I appreciate everyone that is supporting that. I'm getting a few signups every week, so that's really great. Also, if you sign up just for the free membership here on bitcoinandmarkets.com, you will get every time I drop content like the newsletter, free newsletter on Monday, or podcast versions of these live streams, you will get notified of that. And also, if you would like to support me for $5 a month, you can join our monthly price forecast competition, and you get my blog posts before everybody else. Those go out early to paid members. All right, so that's bitcoinandmarkets.com. Let's jump into what's going on with Wall Street Journal and Elizabeth Warren and Cynthia Lummis. Supposed to be a friend of Bitcoin, but she is not acting that way right now. But okay, so there was this Wall Street Journal post. I actually have not seen the original Wall Street Journal post, but in there, apparently it claimed that a bunch of volume was going to Hamas and all of that stuff. Elliptic, they cited Elliptic and their blockchain analysis in the article, but they completely misquoted the numbers. And so Elliptic here had a response, and I did share this in Telegram as well, guys, like yesterday, I think. There is no evidence to support the assertion that Hamas has received significant volumes of crypto donations. A full understanding of blockchain analysis and the context of any analysis is needed when using these insights to draw conclusions. Elliptic has engaged with the Wall Street Journal to correct misinterpretations of the level of crypto fundraising by Hamas. In addition, we have been in discussions with the office of Senator Warren to ensure that the relevant parties have a proper appreciation of the complexities and the nuances of analyzing these wallets. So they did have this is great. They're reaching out to Wall Street Journal. They're reaching out to Elizabeth Warren. But these people are on a full court press right now to, the anti-crypto team there, spearheaded by Elizabeth Warren. They are really using this Hamas thing to go after Bitcoin and go after the other scams that are out there. But it doesn't look like it's working because there was a lot of pushback so far. Balaji had a good tweet. Refutation could not be stronger. Will the Wall Street Journal correct the record? And I even put my 2 cents in. I said BlackRock is the 5th largest shareholder of News Corp. That's the Wall Street Journal's parent company. Make some calls, Larry Fink. So we will see what comes of that. But there was this other tweet here by Dystopia Breaker. And let me just read this one out. To give you an idea of the rote incompetence and maliciousness involved in the Wall Street Journal, Hamas uses crypto propaganda. The way they attributed the number was to find an exchange which caught the blocked Hamas and proceed and proceed to attribute 100% of the total volume of the exchange to Hamas. This would be like JP Morgan caught in cartel laundering $5,000. Then the Wall Street Journal reported that cartels were laundering entire market cap of JP Morgan through the banking system. This is malicious, no doubt about it. It's easier to attempt to fabricate libel against your enemies than it is to fight them on merits, especially when you know you can't win on merits. So that was a good takedown of it. Now I have this video. It is Dr. Wagman, and I'm going to share my screen with Telegram so you guys can listen along. Share system audio. There we go. So she was testifying in front of the Senate Banking Committee, and she made a great point. A lot of people speaking there, I'm guessing, really push back on this. And so here's what she said.
Let's don't focus from the big
Let me start
picture.
that over.
Let's don't lose sight and focus from the big picture. Crypto is currently a very small part of the puzzle. The major funding channels were and remain state funding, Iran and others. Those are the major players. Most of the funds are still being transferred by the traditional channels that we all know from the past. Banks, money transmitter, payment system, Hawala, money exchange, trade-based terrorism financing, charity, cash, shell companies, and crypto. The effort should be global and focus on imposing global sanctions on Hamas and their sponsors, as was the case with ISIS. Let's don't lose sight and focus from the big picture.
So that was some good points. Obviously, the largest currency for money laundering and funding is US dollars, and a lot of times it's cash as well. I mean, they famously delivered pallets of cash. I think it was Obama delivered pallets of cash to the Middle East, like Iraq and Iran and stuff. And so that is very important, that anytime we're in a discussion like this, we have years and years of evidence to quickly correct the record. Now, I got a comment here, and this is, I'm trying to balance these comments and get these up on the screen, but Dex Invictus says, none of these politicians are friends. I agree. And I used to like Cynthia Lummis, at least when she first came out. I was giving her the benefit of the doubt because I think her son or something got her into Bitcoin. And originally she was 100% Bitcoin only. But over the years, she stopped using the word Bitcoin and uses the word crypto. Another person that's similar to Cynthia Lummis would be Hester Pierce at the SEC, one of the commissioners there. And a lot of people think, she's very friendly to Bitcoin, but she's friendly to everything. She would let all the scams get through. She would approve everything. So yeah, none of these politicians are friends. I 100% agree with that. Okay, let's get into this Mark Yusko interview. They're talking about with Mitchell Hodel and Mark Yusko. They're debating distribution of Bitcoin. And before we get into that, actually, I wanted to bring up this tweet from a while ago. This is back in August, and Mark Yusko was talking about WorldCoin, and he's pumping it. So he trashes Bitcoin, but he pumps the fair distribution of WorldCoin. So that's a little bit of background here on this debate, and let's get into it.
But it's also not widely used. So the other part of my quote was, look, I think that a small number of people owning all the Bitcoins is an inferior system to broad distribution.
Yeah, but on chain, we've seen it get more distributed over time.
Kinda.
The trend has picked up significantly here, actually.
Kinda. I mean,
okay, that's a good refutation right there, that it is getting more distributed, and it will get more distributed through time. Now, there's two types of distribution when we talk about Bitcoin, and one of them is like distributing it from nothing to something, right? like from launch. Bitcoin was fairly launched. It didn't have a pre-mine. That means in the Genesis block, there were no balances. I mean, I guess there was that one balance for Satoshi, but it's unspendable. And so it's a fair launch, and distribution was through proof of work. So that's one way to talk about distribution. The other way is owning the coins widely in the economy. Okay. And that it's getting better and better. That chart that they just showed, what is, all the different numbers of addresses and things. There's also centralization in the way that like Coinbase or Binance and these big exchanges, they have a lot of Bitcoins in a few addresses, but they have more owners than that. Those coins aren't really usable though, other than for trading. So that would be not the same as what Mark is talking about here. So my opinion is that over the years, we're going to get more and more distributed because people are going to earn the Bitcoins. So you get paid in Bitcoin, or you get paid a little bit in dollars and you buy a little bit of Bitcoin. And over the next few decades, it will get more and more widely distributed. And you want it to be distributed in that way. So the WorldCoin, the other thing that Mark likes to pump, is that it's just distributed evenly, like a level playing field. But that's not good. That is what creates a lot of scams, because people don't know how to manage money. They didn't earn it. You want capital to go to the people that earn it. They are the better capital allocators in the economy because they've earned it. So an unfair distribution is natural. And Bitcoin is, the way Bitcoin is distributed is through merit, 100% through merit.
And Gini coefficient is a bad thing, but if you look at the top addresses and adjusting for, I do know that, Coinbase is not one person. You adjust for all of that, it's still highly concentrated in a very small number.
Yeah, but you still have 1.5 million that's going to get mined over the next 100-something years. So even latecomers, they'll still have the chance to get Bitcoin. And plus, because it's divisible into Satoshis, everybody can, could be widely distributed, even if a large chunk of the pie is consolidated with a few.
That's a good point. I mean, what about people that aren't born yet? That's not fair. They should they stand by? All right, so unprofessionally, sorry about that, guys. Somebody came to the front door, some solicitor. But all right, where was I? Oh yeah, people that aren't born yet. So what? When they're born, are they supposed to get issued new Bitcoin when they turn 18, or how do we make it fair? It cannot be made fair, so it has to be earned. So let's continue.
Users.
But let's think about this. So if it was distributed at basically zero value, 0.0003 cents at the beginning, and only a small number of people got it, and now it's 26,000, and tomorrow it's 260,000. Those people that are latecomers are getting a smaller proportion.
Yeah, I think it's a perfect balance though, because there's this paradox where money needs to be scarce, like gold or Bitcoin, but also widely distributed. I think Bitcoin's having supply schedule is perfect at solving that problem, because if all 21 million had been released at once, obviously that would be a huge problem. But you want to benefit early newcomers to it, right? Like if you're the first one to figure out Bitcoin, if you're, Hal Finney mining in 2009, you should get more Bitcoin than someone who comes 100 years later. Because you're the first one to discover the new money. I think that's more, it's fair and open, right? It's anybody who was alive it was an open network. Anybody could have mined from the very beginning if you knew about it.
But you had to know about it. Well, that's
information asymmetry right there. That's all investing's built on, right? If you know something that other people don't, if you figure out something before the market figures it.
That's a great point. And also, this didn't come out of the blue in 2009. I have that kind of well-known infographic of the 40 years leading up to Bitcoin's invention. It started back with the creation of the internet. And then with the creation of HTTP, they have the 402 error, which is a payment. So there's always known that there was going to be some type of money for the internet. They'd been working on it for years and years and decades, building up to Bitcoin. Goldbug should have seen this instantly, And I mean, I didn't see it in 2009 or 2010 or 2011, but I was relatively early because I came from the Goldbug side of the house. And there has to be a first mover advantage. I mean, that's just natural. It's not that there has to be. There's naturally going to be a first mover advantage because it's better money. So anyway, let's continue.
It's supposed to be an investment. It's not supposed to be hoarded by a precious few to control the masses. I mean, that's what it's been used as. But that's not what it's supposed to be. I mean, to the point.
It's not supposed to be anything. It's a neutral, inert thing. It doesn't have feelings, anything like that. So why would you say that's not what it's supposed to be? And hoarding is using, guys. Store value is using.
If we want equality, right, then it should be a broader distribution. And
we don't necessarily want equality. That's what I would pin him down on. Like, what do you mean equality? Are you a communist? Like what do you mean equality? We don't want equality. We want people who earn it to have more.
It's an interesting, look, we all justify current situation. We justify our height. We justify our status in life. It's what I wanted. Probably if you were to map it out, maybe not. And so if somebody happened to be cypherpunk or friendly with Satoshi Nakamoto, whoever he, she, they are, I'll go he, self-identified once.
And I'll also add, it's very hard to hold. It's very, very hard to hold. People think, oh, you just buy it and you hold it for 10 years and you're rich. No, it's extremely hard to hold. Once you learn about Bitcoin, you dive down the rabbit hole. You learn about it. You think about it all day. You watch the charts, and it's hard to hodl and not take your gains, not sell, try to sell the top and buy the bottom, get into trading because the cycle's happening and you want to make money buying low and selling high. It's hard. It's extremely hard.
This is a he, so we think it's a he, or maybe a group of he's. Maybe
that makes me think of that meme where it says what people think holding is like, and it's a guy riding a bike on a slight incline. It's nice and flat, and then the other panel is what it's really like hodling Bitcoin, and there's like all of these dips and hills and shark infested waters and everything. So that's what it's like.
It's the NSA, maybe it's the Chinese government, who knows? But if you're friendly with those people and you got a big stack, just because you were friendly with those, that's not so fair.
I mean, anybody could have participated, though. I think that's on them, right? And people,
Yeah.
there's still people that don't know about Bitcoin, right? You figured it out early, right? So, 20, 30 years from now, I mean, maybe you'll give away all your Bitcoin, but I'd imagine you wouldn't necessarily do that because, you were smart, you were foresightful, you've seen it ahead of time.
No, you won't give it away, but you'll spend it. You'll definitely spend your Bitcoin in the future.
Seen the debasement of fiat currency. You've put in the work to figure out what this thing is. So I think it's a quality of opportunity, right? Maybe not necessarily a quality of outcome.
I mean, I guess if you equilibrate it to gold, gold gets mined and then gold gets sold. It doesn't get mined by everybody, and everybody did have a chance to go mine it. Most miners didn't make money, so yeah, I guess there's an equivalence there.
Absolutely, there is. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's show, guys. I hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed that. Let me go back to my website. So, happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Let me turn this off for a second. All right, there we go. Yeah, happy Friday. Hope you guys enjoy the weekend. Halloween is coming up next week, right? Let me see what day that is. The 31st is next Tuesday, and then the Fed meets on, they have their press conference and stuff on Wednesday, so make sure you guys hang out here. I'll be live streaming on the Fed decision when it drops at 2:30 Eastern on Wednesday. Also, check out bmpro.substack.com right over there for the Bitcoin Magazine Pro, if you guys didn't know that yet. And that's it. Thanks for joining me. See you next